From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is a Thunder update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Thunder beat writer Eric Horn. Well, Eric, Monday night, the Thunder secured their spot in the NBA playoffs, but a lot still not known, a lot of scenarios that could play out. Give us a rundown as best we can of how things could play out, what those scenarios are for the Thunder.
Biggest thing for the Thunder is they got to win on Wednesday. We cannot presume any win is a given with the Thunder this season, but they've already beaten Memphis 3 times already this season. They have a 4th chance to do it on Wednesday night. They beat them. They can get no lower than the 6th seed in the Western Conference. Tuesday night, Utah plays against Golden State. Utah is the only team left in the playoff race that the Thunder has a head-to-head tiebreaker against this season. They've beaten Utah 3 times already. So if Utah beats Golden State, then Utah has a chance to go up against Portland on Wednesday and potentially get the 3 seed. But the Thunder would need Utah to lose to Portland on Wednesday, and then the Thunder would have to take care of their business to where Utah and the Thunder would finish with the same record. And if there's somehow a 3-way tie, the Thunder would finish ahead of Utah in the standings and potentially get, or not potentially, would get the number 4 seed and get to host a home playoff round.
I'm so glad you were the one to lay those out and not me. I haven't had near enough caffeine this morning on a Tuesday morning to talk through all of those, Eric.
This is the thing. Everybody wants to rush and say, well, what's gonna, what? Up until probably last night, a lot of this stuff was still up in the air. A lot of it's still up in the air. So it's crazy to go and jump to conclusions. You just got to wait till all the games are played most of the time. We're finally getting to the point to where we can start to whittle the scenarios down to maybe 2 or 3 different scenarios. Look, the Thunder could still end up in the 7 or the 8 seed if they're not careful. If they lose to Memphis, again, let's not be presumptuous and think that the Thunder is just going to go ahead and win this game on Wednesday. We know how they are, even though they've played fairly well against Houston and Miami in 2 games in a row. The Thunder just needs to continue to win and not rely on other people.
So you've said it a couple times, but just to reiterate, there's a lot on the line on Wednesday night against those Grizzlies, right?
Yeah, and not just, it's not just the Thunder that has a lot on the line. It's the entire Western Conference race from 3 to 8. Denver and Minnesota are playing for a play-in game to the playoffs on Wednesday night. San Antonio and New Orleans, they have a game on Wednesday that has playoff implications and seeding implications. I mean, not playoff implications because they wrapped up, but seeding implications. There's a lot on the line in these next couple of days, and it's going to be exciting to watch, particularly on Wednesday when all the teams that are in the Western Conference playoff race are all going to be playing.
Now, you mentioned the Thunder, if they're not careful, they could end up in the 7 or 8, but you also said they could go as high as 4. I mean, that would be, considering all that this season has become, the ups and downs and the unknowns, getting to that 4 spot, that would be a huge deal for this team and would really be important. You've laid some of that out, but winning is first. What are the other things that play into that?
Well, I mean, you got to win the game, obviously. But the Thunder getting that home playoff seed, it would just give them a much better advantage or a chance to go win a series. Look, even if they go on the road as a 6 and have to play, say, Portland, that's a series that they could be competitive in. It's just going to be tough to imagine the Thunder winning that series because if it goes to 7 games, Portland's going to have the last game at home, and the Thunder hasn't beaten Portland in Portland since, like 1977 or something. So it's one of those where the Thunder has to give itself the best opportunity to win as possible. They're a team that's only been 1 game over 500 on the road all season. They're a better home team. The Chesapeake Energy Arena crowd obviously is a big advantage for them. And, despite this season being a disappointment, there are a lot of other teams in the Western Conference who are disappointed as well. Minnesota was a team that was picked to finish, 4 or 5, or, a win or 2 ahead or below the Thunder, and maybe be even a 50-win team. And Minnesota's fighting for their playoff lives on Wednesday. So, I mean, the silver lining is the Thunder's in the playoffs, and they have the easiest game in the entire league, literally the easiest game in the league to win in order to ensure that they get a 6 seed and not just be able to make the playoffs, but they also avoid going to Houston in the first round or playing Houston in the second round.
Wouldn't it be nice too? I know this may be asking too much, but wouldn't it be nice if these guys would just take that easiest game in the league and win it like you're supposed to? I mean, last night we saw them fall behind. I mean, not to knock Miami. Miami's going to be a playoff team in the East. fall behind by 18 points, Eric. Win by 22, but fall behind by 18. Wouldn't it be nice if that Thunder team came out in that regular season finale, warm up for the playoffs, and won the game like they were supposed to?
Yeah, it would be ideal. And look, let's not paint it all roses for what the Thunder's done over these last 2 road games. Teams have missed open shots. Houston's missed some open three-pointers. The Thunder's interior defense was terrible. The Heat were getting anything they wanted in the paint. In the first quarter, the Thunder was down by as many as 18 points. The Heat had 36 points in the paint at halftime, when the Thunder's a team that typically gives up about 42, 43 points a game in the paint. The Thunder's defense was not good against the Heat early, but let's credit the Thunder in the fourth quarter of these last 2 games. They've really locked in. Russell Westbrook against Houston was outstanding against James Harden. The Thunder, as a unit, they outscored the Heat by 27 points in the fourth quarter last night, got to the free throw line a bunch, made their free throws, made 80%, and they played the defense necessary that you're going to have to see from them in the playoffs, particularly guys like Jeremy Grant covering the backside, coming from the weak side for blocks, and just clamping down overall and being able to play a better defensive game. So I don't see any, I do see a way the Thunder loses on Wednesday, but it's a very slim way. The Grizzlies are not invested in winning at this point. They just want to try and get the best pick possible, give themselves the best odds of getting the number 1 selection. And the Thunder has every incentive to win this game on Wednesday, and they should.
All right, lots, as we've talked about, left to determine on Wednesday night. It'll be after those games are over before we get the playoff pairings, who starts when. 4 series will start on Saturday, 4 will start on Sunday. We'll have all that coverage as it gets closer, obviously. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.